Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go! So guys, first of all, while I'm recording this video, there were massive strikes reported across the occupied territories by Russia, for example in Crimea, but also in Kursk and Novorossiysk port. This video was shared just right now, several minutes ago. The port of Novorossiysk is located on the territory of the Russian Federation, and there Russia stored their military ships which they evacuated from Crimea partially. So Ukrainian drones, I guess, went to this area hitting something, but again we have some of the information saying that Ukraine launched also Neptune anti-ship missiles. Well, the upgraded version of that missile is really a long range. And this video filmed in the Kursk region. Russians already called this attack one of the most massive from Ukrainian side ever done. And yeah, based on the geographical parts which are affected, I would confirm that. Ukraine uses dozens of the drones for this night's strike. However, the biggest news I would consider today that Western countries put the sanctions on the Russian Shadow or Ghost oil tanker fleet, plus many of the oil companies. Russia's Ghost fleet in focus as West sanctions key oil sector of Russia. Well, not just the United States applied sanctions on the Russian oil sector, but also UK and Japan, as far as I remember. Two of the biggest oil companies in Russia also went under the sanctions. We are speaking about Surgutneftegas and Gazprom Neft. Over 180 tankers of the Russian Ghost or Shadow Oil fleet sanctioned, so they cannot obtain any sort of the insurances. It means that if we speak about normal ports in many of the normal countries, by the way in China as well, they cannot accept those ships without insurances. So how Russia is going to solve that issue, I don't know. Also, foreign traders who sell Russian oil are affected as well, their top managers and companies. And that will make the Russian economy really suffer, and Putin's war machine obtains funds mostly from oil and gas. After almost 3 years of war, I see determination of our allies to finish the Russian regime. At least those sanctions are applied. Finally, it's better late than never, but 100% I understand that West doesn't want Putin in power of Russia. Finally. Well, the new White House administration might change everything, but we'll see. Those news are the best so far for, I would say, many months. And yeah, markets react immediately. Oil jumps more than 4% on concern over more sanctions on Russia. However, at the same time, we understand that Saudi Arabia plus some of the other Middle East countries, they pump more, so fluctuation 4% doesn't really matter. With the United States oil production, with the Middle East production, I think we're fine even without Russian oil. And more videos are coming about the Ukrainian drone attack, so here's one more, let's watch it. He says 7 Kabooms, 7th Kaboom, which he witnesses. So yeah, there is something really extraordinary this night happening in Russia. And the last night there was the Kaboom of the Russian drone facility. I think it happened in Rostov Oblast. After Kaboom, the huge fire was reported. Ukrainian side says that it was the storage place for the Russian surveillance drones like Orlan and Zala. It was their hub center. Alright, now kind of the concerning news for Ukraine. Russia develops bomb cruise missile modification. So as it is shown here, the aviation bomb is attached to the gliding module. I wonder why the wings are not extended. It should be like that. And also there are rocket engine boosters on each side of the module or each side of this gliding bomb. The module also equipped with control surfaces to change the attitude of this gliding bomb. Well, those engines do not allow bomb to climb or maintain altitude, but they increase the gliding distance significantly. So for example, from the Russian territory, Russia will be able to hit Poltava. Also Dnipro city, Zaporizhia, this bomb may cover hundreds of the kilometers. Well, Russia is not using those bombs right now, but in the nearby future they'll start the massive production. They already tested. And now let's review the map. Honestly, guys, the situation isn't good for Ukrainian army in Kursk region. Just look at that. So yesterday Russia advanced taking this territory, kind of the big part, and today they moved in this area. You can see this zone freshly occupied. So Ukrainian advancement towards Berdy or where was repelled with more success, I would say, from the Russian side. Yes, Ukraine tries to counterattack, but all of that, I think, is just useless for this hour. Yeah, Russia has more losses, but they go forward again and again, unfortunately for Ukraine. You know, Russians say that they encircled Malaya Loknya and all of those villages here, but it's not true. However, the situation there is difficult. I don't honestly think that Ukraine has the chance to keep those villages under control. Ukraine is forced to retreat from this place, that's what I see. And based on the scale of the Russian offensive in Kursk region, I think it might happen the next week. However, at the same time, we hear more and more voices from the Russian side at first that Ukraine is planning one more big strike. They continue to say about 20,000 Ukrainian soldiers who were taken from reserve and they'll attack Russia somewhere. Well, honestly, I don't have that information. Then Ukraine started the attack, by the way, towards Berdy. Russia thought that it was the massive Ukrainian attack, and they really spread the news about this massive strike of Ukraine, and I also followed that narrative, which was not, after all, a truthful one. Well, maybe Ukraine planned something bigger, but at the same time Russia attacked from the other side in the Kursk region. Maybe Ukraine decided to stop and now is concentrating on defense. But is the big strike from Ukraine is possible? With the current resources, I don't think it is really possible with some of the strategic outcome. Maybe like one more operation, the same as in Kursk region, we'll see. My friends, by the way, if you want to support the job that I do on YouTube, you may also join my Patreon. The link for my Patreon page is available right in the video description below. Thank you so much for your awesome support. Alright, what does the deep state tells us about the situation on the front lines in Ukraine? Today Russia moved very close to this road in Velika Novosilka, so here and here. And also Russia fully occupied Kurakhova yesterday, and today the last street was taken, and the fight will be ongoing for Dachne and maybe for this small village. I think it's called Yantarna, something like that. And obviously the Russians will move forward because they will release some of their forces which were based in Kurakhova. And also they moved here in Shevchenko yesterday and today. Here it's important for Russia to advance towards this road because it's the logistic road, could be the one for Pokrovsk. And maybe they want to go and cut supplies of this main road which leads to Pokrovsk from Dnipro city. Well, actually Russia already may use some of the Mosta system, artillery system elsewhere in the region, together with cutting Ukrainian supplies, hub centers. And this 30 artillery system also helps Russia a lot, but they deploy it not very close to the front lines, they put it somewhere here. But the part of the Ukrainian controlled territory is still within the range, even for this kind of the short range artillery system. But if we speak about mortars, they are more mobile and Russia may deploy them very close to the supply road. So for Ukraine it's already dangerous to deliver goods using this main road, but not impossible. Near Vozdvizhenka, Russia also moved towards this very important crossroad, so today they advanced to reach those farms. And they need to cover roughly 2 kilometers, to reach this crossroad. So Russia moves every day on the front lines. For now, the movement is kind of slow compared to what it was in 2022 at the very beginning of the war. Nevertheless, there are heaviest losses now since the beginning of the war in both of the armies, in Russian one and in Ukrainian one. Well, first of all in Russian, but since they attack, they also cause losses for Ukraine. The situation for Ukraine is difficult, but for now not critical. Everything might change, by the way, if Russia occupies Pokrovsk. I'm not that Ukrainian blogger who says that, oh, Pokrovsk doesn't really matter, it's just a town, there are many more cities and towns in Ukraine. From this perspective, there are many of the towns in Ukraine indeed, but Pokrovsk itself is very important. I would say that judging on the current balance of the forces, the situation on the front lines, this particular town is the most important for the Donbass region at least, and maybe not only, maybe also for Dnipro region too. Like Avdiivka was important before, not to let Russians to go to Pokrovsk, but if Russia occupies Pokrovsk, they may go north, they may go west, they may go wherever they want, because it's the very important crossroad for the railroad connection, for standard roads. It's the hub for Ukraine, so Ukraine will be forced to reorganize the entire logistics of supplies in Donbass, and that will create one more chaotic system, because the Ukrainian army would need more time for this reorganization, and Russia might use this critical time to break through the main Ukrainian defense, I mean the line of those villages or the line of those villages, yes, with heaviest losses possible, but they can do it, maybe not this year, but the next one, we'll see. I just hope that it will not happen like that, but I see what is happening on the front lines. Russia now has initiative and they are scrolling to Pokrovsk, so for sure there will be the battle. And Ukraine unfortunately has tiny little chances to win it. But again, guys, those are the news from the front lines, and you know Russian propaganda says that they always win, but they do not concentrate their attention on the issues inside Russia, about Putin, who is actually getting older and older and who is losing the control because the Russian elite start to clash between each other. There is also the huge problem inside Russian economy and the motivation of people to continue the war. For example, Pavel Gubarev, who was fighting against Ukraine since 2014, yes, he is a Ukrainian separatist, he obtained the Russian citizenship and he was one of the main managers of so-called Russia, which didn't happen. And in his today's speech, it's in Russian, but I can tell you what he said. Well, he said that because of the heavy losses, Russia should stop the special military operation, because people are exhausted. They cannot continue like that. It will bring chaos for Russia. However, before, like in 2014, he said that we're gonna fight till the end, but now no. And he's not the ordinary Z-patriot, no, he is one of the main ideologists of the self-proclaimed republics. And you know guys, soon I guess he will come dangerously close to the open window. Yeah. Alright, Ukraine will obtain roughly 30,000 drones to boost the security. Wow. What kind of the drones? Well, they do not specify, but the more drones are there in the Ukrainian army, the better it is for us, for Ukraine, let's say, and for those people who support Ukraine. I think that you are one of them. By the way, on my other channel, and yes, this is me, and on the top it's also me, I filmed a video about Matris 4 drone, which could be a best seller for Ukrainian and unfortunately also for the Russian army, because they have the giant drones there too. Why do I think that it could be a best seller? Because it has the most versatile block of cameras. Especially what is interesting is thermal camera and tele camera. This basically gives you the night operation, and this zoom. Zoom, I would say, is the most important thing. And because this drone is smaller, it's cheaper compared to Matris 30T, it may fly for a longer time. Well, I would say that it will be a new bestseller for military operation, even though the drone wasn't designed for the military operation, but it has so many surveillance features, especially that it is wow. Yeah, even this guy has wide eyes speaking about the drones. Yeah, you may say DJI is the Chinese company and they try to cut supplies for Ukraine and the Western countries, you know, because we use their drones for military purposes, but they supply the same drones for Russia for the military purposes. And unfortunately, many of the Western companies, they still use China-made parts, so it's impossible to get rid of China, even if you speak about the drone wars. China market is crucial here, and they try to cut supplies from their massive production market. But for Russia to get those drones, it's fine. Trump's team releases the video of the visit to Greenland, how few of the people decided to meet with delegation from the United States of America. I would say kind of the strange people after all, and Denmark officially, like Denmark News, told that Trump's team gathered some of the hobos from the streets. They gave them those hats and they told go to the airport, meet Trump, and you'll get the money. And that's how we have this photo with Trump Jr. and allegedly hobos around. Well, I cannot confirm that information about hobos, but definitely there are not many people who would like to join the celebration of the Trump's visit. And something tells me that it was definitely organized. And you know, guys, it reminds me Putin's visits to Crimea, then it was still Ukrainian-controlled territory. Putin just went to the place many of the times without official notice, like a tourist, to attend some of the Russian patriotic events. And yes, definitely there was the group of people who were paid to organize those events or participate by waving the Russian flags. And one day, Russia occupied Crimea. Well, Politica says that Trump's possible invasion of Greenland would be the shortest war in the world because Denmark actually has 17,000 troops. And also from the logistics point of view, it's really hard to defend Greenland for Denmark, having kind of the small army, and Denmark sent most of their equipment, military equipment, to Ukraine. Well, at least they have some of the airplanes just in case, so they may resist couple of days maybe. Guys, it's really hard for me to speak about the possible conflict between our allies, United States and Denmark. It is crazy. But you know what? Trump said that he is looking for any sort of the solution, including military. And in this context, couple of words about Elon Musk and Yoni. Yoni is a YouTuber. He participated podcast with operator Starsky, and I support his statement relative to Elon Musk. Elon Musk reported on the statement in a very harsh way. Well, this video is 3 minutes long. I'm gonna make it faster and I'm gonna put Yoni's channel right in the video description below. Just for you to check it out because guy really has the fresh mind.
Hey, Yoni here. In today's video I will talk about why Elon Musk got mad and insulted me. On Sunday evening I made a short tweet where I was discussing the disinformation that is being spread by Elon Musk. I basically said that he's becoming one of the biggest spreaders of disinformation in history and that the EU should do something about it. The tweet itself did not get much reach and I just went to bed. When I woke up, I had received a message by a friend called Alex. In this message, there was a screenshot of that comment by Elon Musk, and I first thought I was a fake. But it was not fake, it was real. Elon Musk was really insulting me. The reason I got under his skin so much with this post is because he knows that I'm right. Instead of trying to counter what I said, Musk and his supporters decided to just insult me. I've been tweeting quite a lot about Musk in the recent months, and there's many reasons for that. First of all, I believe that there are huge conflicts of interest with Elon Musk having the role that he has without being in an official position in the administration. Because of these massive conflicts of interest, Musk will always put his business interests before American interests. For his companies, Musk needs to have access to Chinese labor and the Chinese market. He also needs to have access to natural resources from China and Russia. Because of that, Musk will never confront China or Russia. You might have noticed that Musk likes to criticize the US and its allies, but he never criticizes China or Russia. All these things are bad for the US, but I'm not American and I cannot decide for the US. However, Musk is now also trying to influence European politics. He has openly been supporting the AfD in Germany, which is a pro-Russia and pro-China far-right party, and he has also been heavily interfering in UK politics. Musk has been spreading a lot of disinformation and trying to make far-right parties win elections in Europe. The interesting thing is that Dugin, the Russian far-right philosopher, actually shares Musk's goal of getting the far-right parties to win in Europe. He even admits it. Musk is basically pushing Russian and Chinese interests in Europe. The reason for that is that because their interests align with his interests. By helping far-right parties, Musk is trying to make Europe more divided, weaker, less sovereign, and more corrupt. Musk wants to have as much power as possible to accomplish his dreams. For that, he needs lower taxes, deregulation, and he needs to avoid a confrontation between the US and its enemies, Russia and China. A weak and divided Europe makes that more likely. Those are the reasons I have been calling out Elon Musk on X, and also why I have been calling for more regulation on social media platforms in the EU. If the EU does not manage to regulate X and TikTok, it needs to ban them. We don't have much time and we need to act now. I haven't seen any counter-arguments by Elon and his supporters on X yet. As I said, they don't confront me with facts, but they insult me instead. Musk claims to be a defender of free speech, but he's not. He only defends free speech when it goes his way, and he can't take criticism. Don't stop confronting him, and ask for the EU to regulate social media platforms. And if they can't, they just need to ban them.
Well, about banning, I do not really fully agree on that, but regulations, after all, I think should be applied. I was quite wrong about, for example, Durov's arrest in France, because after all, he applied some extra moderation and he blocked many of the dangerous channels. But after all, I think blocking will not resolve the issue. Those corporates, the only thing they like is money, profit. So they should be, let's say, not blocked, but restricted. And yeah, Twitter, or as Elon calls it, X, is crazy platform. I just now hate to check it. because I have absolutely shitty stuff in the recommendations, and it's based not on my preferences, it's based on what Twitter wants to show me. Well, on Telegram at least we don't have it, that's why I'm on Telegram, because you don't have recommendations at all, you just subscribe and you receive information from me directly, so it's useful. So on Telegram you do not receive this crazy shitty propaganda, for example a Russian one, if you are not subscribed for that. And here with Yoni it's absolutely crazy, he didn't tag Elon Musk, he didn't spread this message. Yoni said that he has kind of the small channel, but Elon Musk replied on this comment. He said, "F you retard, very harsh manner to speak." And Elon Musk, he is billionaire, but at the same time I guess he is sick. You know, saying like that, then you're almost a president, or maybe a president after all. And just for you to understand this personality, oh my god guys, I'm gonna film the separate video about it, but not on this channel because it's mostly dedicated to Ukraine. But the gaming community, well, it's now crazy about Elon, because Elon uncovered himself that he pays someone to play, for example, Diablo game, Diablo 4, for Elon's account to be top rated. But then Elon streamed the game, then he was flying somewhere, he tested Starlink for Diablo game. Well, after watching the stream, people realized that he is not playing this game well at all. He is noob. So if he is such a mercantile in this tiny little thing as the video game, he pays someone really to play that game and to win, because he cannot do it himself properly, and he lies to everyone that he is very good in this game. Well, just imagine what is happening on a larger scale. Elon Musk is really a threat, I would say, for stability of the world. This guy is absolutely crazy, and now he has money and power. Whew, bingo. Yeah, the full video with the proofs and everything I'm gonna film on my other channel, so you may check it out in the video description. It's crazy. Oh boy, here we have the story about the Russian Shadow tanker fleet. One of those tankers is now drifting in the Baltic Sea. It lost the engine, it's just going somewhere with the flow, but guys, it might create a huge natural disaster, because there is tons and tons of fuel on board, and if the ship hit the shore or the bottom somewhere, wow, it's dangerous. So it's one more reason why the sanctions should be applied on the Russian ships. They don't care about the maintenance. And just look at this picture, it happened recently near the Russian coast, so spill of the oil, it hit the shore. And this is the very ancient Russian oil tanker, Volga Neft 238 from what I can see. And the same stuff they carry outside Russia, so they create those disasters elsewhere. In many of the cases, Russian ships do not fit standards. And today we have the proof that the engine of the vessel of this oil tanker just stopped in the middle of the journey. Well guys, it's all what I want to say today to you. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.